First off, I just want to say, may the 4th be with you. On this wonderful day, we are celebrating the most amazing franchise ever created, Star Wars. In doing so, I would like to do a bit of celebrating in Return of the Jedi for its re-release to theaters. Yeah, I know it's gone now, but I did get a chance to take my wife and younger son to see it for their first time in theaters. I think they went along for me mostly, but I can keep my delusions that it was for them as well. When Return of the Jedi was released in 1983, we were getting more into the father-son dynamic of Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader. I mean, was there really a dynamic? Darth Vader had previously tried to get Luke to join in the family business. In the process, he cut off Luke's hand, I guess as a way of telling him, look, it's better to lose your hand like this than in an industrial accident. Seems weird. Luke may have just gotten the wrong idea. I don't know. Most parents teach their kids to ride a bike or swim or something. Luke didn't grow up around water, so maybe learning to swim would have been something useful in his new role as a galactic do-gooder. Darth Vader's methods of parenting were definitely lacking, though. If he saw Luke as being out of line, he should have just grounded him from his droid or something. Imagine cutting off your kid's hand because they didn't want to be a doctor. But Dad, I'm going to be a famous artist. Nope. Slice. Seriously, I told my father that one time. He didn't cut off my drawing hand for it, though, and I'm glad I have a better father than Darth Vader. Where was I? Ah, crap, I lost my train of thought. Oh, Darth Vader and Luke. Oh, yeah. At the time of Return of the Jedi's original release, we didn't know exactly how the Jedi, Anakin Skywalker, had fallen from grace, or much of what Anakin was like as a Jedi. Only the weird story Obi-Wan Kenobi told Luke. Hey dude, your dad was a great Jedi. He was then killed by another pupil of mine named Darth Vader. So, how's about it? Want to be like your father? Sure. Sign me up, brother. All we know was that Darth Vader had become evil and killed off the once good Jedi Knight that was Anakin Skywalker. Since then, there have been more films released and numerous written materials on Anakin Skywalker and his turn to evil. Now we all know how he fell and what a great Jedi Anakin Skywalker actually was. We also learned that he wasn't evil. Not at first. Choking his wife? Yeah, she really didn't seem into that. But we got a great understanding of the power of the dark side of the Force, and it made so much more sense in Return of the Jedi when Darth Vader told Luke Skywalker, you don't know the power of the dark side. And it's that stranglehold that I'd like to talk about today. It's one of the most profound lines in the entire movie, maybe even all of Star Wars, when you dig further into it. But before I go on, a quick word from the guy who foots the bill around here. Me. Hit the subscribe button and give the video a big stupid thumbs up. I'm on a mission to hit 50,000 subscribers, and I'd like to take you all with me on that journey. I know every other YouTube channel asks for your subscription, but mine's special. Why? Because this is freaking Star Wars, baby, and I absolutely promise to deliver on giving you the best and most positive Star Wars content YouTube has to offer, all while making bad jokes. And all original content, too. So, if you love Star Wars and want to party like an Ewok at a Stormtrooper barbecue, welcome home. Let's get back to the power of the dark side and that Star Wars thing I was talking about. When Luke Skywalker turned himself into Darth Vader on Endor, it was every bit of Luke's goal to turn his father back to the light and return him to being Anakin Skywalker. A fight if he must, but he wanted to try the psychological approach first. And at first, his plans didn't work out. I mean, try to talk Vader out of being Darth Vader. But it did seem that Luke had touched Anakin within the dark facade of Darth Vader's armor. Anakin Skywalker heard Luke. But from what we saw in 1983, Vader wouldn't let go of his power over Anakin. Or is it that he wouldn't? Or is it that he couldn't? A bit of both, really. Anakin was always obsessed with power, even as a Jedi. For a brief moment, Luke and his father shared a moment, a son concerned with the choices his father had made, and a father regretful for not being a proper dad. Instead of Luke addressing Darth Vader, we can now see that he is actually talking to his repressed father, the man who loved Luke's mother intensely, and maybe he could bring that man back to the surface. For a second, he was successful. In his voice, you can almost hear Anakin's regret for what he has become, yet he knows he can't overcome who he is now. Luke says, "Come with me." Anakin then responds in a sentimental voice, "Obi-Wan once thought as you do. You don't know the power of the dark side." At the time, we believed this to mean that he was obsessed with his own power gained from his turn, that it's so much more fun to be this powerful. When Anakin turned to the dark side in Revenge of the Sith, we see he is just that, obsessed with power. And that was true for the younger Darth Vader as well. It was also true in A New Hope when he told Admiral Conan Antonio Matti that the power to destroy a planet is insignificant compared to the power of the Force. But that was before he knew he had a son. Yes, having the new knowledge of a son toward Darth Vader more than killing Han Solo toward Ben Solo. Shh, I don't need to hear that you hate the sequels. I already know. Having a son was something for Anakin Skywalker to grab onto, something to embolden him to take his life back. A connection to his beloved wife Padme, a family, the family he looked forward to as a Jedi. Now, in Luke's presence, Anakin's idea of power has shifted. Instead of being obsessed with the power he has, Anakin now feels a prisoner to the power held over him by his master and the dark side of the Force. He even says, "I must obey my master." This line takes away his free will in the matter and places it more into the realm that Palpatine now controls him with the dark side. Not by choice. That choice was taken from him the moment Anakin's eyes turned Sith yellow. In the beginning, Anakin was frustrated with the missteps of the Jedi Order, his secret life with his wife Padme, and how they treated Ahsoka Tano when she was falsely accused of murder and treason. It was easy to bring him to the dark side at that moment, but by the time Return of the Jedi had rolled around some 24 years later, he was being tortured by his master, Emperor Palpatine, or Darth Sidious if you prefer. He had kept him a slave to his own anger and physical pain. It had also become his way of life, as half his life had been spent in this conditioned state. If you read all the new comics in conjunction with the films, you'll notice there is a struggle between Anakin Skywalker and Darth Vader, with Anakin quietly hinting that he needs help. But that voice was fading fast by the time he realizes he has a son, and Darth Vader was wanting Luke dead, in order to stop any bits of Anakin Skywalker from taking control. But when he meets Luke on Endor, Darth Vader's voice begins to fade more and more, and is replaced by Anakin Skywalker. However, Anakin realizes the power of the dark side will always keep him down, but as he said, "I must obey my master." This was the voice of Anakin Skywalker. So Darth Vader wanted to either turn Luke to the dark side or kill him, while Anakin was begging Luke to free him. But Anakin was not controlling the voice until he saw his son being slowly killed by Emperor Palpatine. Very slowly. Geez, Palpatine, you had the upper hand, man, and could have ended Luke in a second. But no, you played around. But in the midst of the chaos, Anakin took his moment. Emperor Palpatine was distracted long enough for Darth Vader to be pushed aside long enough for Anakin Skywalker to regain control. Knowing that the dark side of the Force was keeping him alive in tandem with his suit, Anakin took the chance and freed his son and himself from their torture and eventual deaths. When the dark side left Anakin Skywalker, Anakin perished, joining the Force as Anakin Skywalker. It wasn't solely the suit that kept him alive. If it were, he would have died on Mustafar. He would have died when Ahsoka tore his mask on Malachor. He would have died when Obi-Wan Kenobi broke his respirator and his mask in their duel. Not to mention, there are also stories in the comics that see Vader's suit take a whomping. When Luke told Anakin that he would die if he took his mask off, Anakin replies by saying, "Nothing can stop that now." Meaning the darkness is gone that was keeping him alive, and even a new suit wouldn't stop his death. So when he said, "You don't know the power of the dark side," he meant the power it gave him, the power it had binding him to Emperor Palpatine, and its power keeping him alive. That if he were to turn back to the light in the moment Luke was talking to Vader on Endor, he would have died right then, and the Emperor would still be in control of everything, ending in Luke's own death. The moment between Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker, and Luke Skywalker is still one of my favorite moments in Star Wars. There's so much depth to it. Oftentimes we take things at surface level. It's easy to say Darth Vader was always in control and there was no Anakin Skywalker until the moment he chose to throw Palpatine down the shaft. But I always try to see what's deeper in that conversation. But what do you think? Was Vader the only one in control? Was he only after power it gave him? Let me know in the comments below. Let's discuss it. Darth Vader / Anakin Skywalker are two of my favorite characters due to the perceived depth of the characters. Everything isn't always black and white, good and evil. Sometimes there's so much more to it. That's all I have for now. But before I go, another quick word from our sponsor, me. Hit the subscribe button and give the video a big stupid thumbs up. I'm on a crazy ass mission to hit 50,000 subscribers, and I'd like to take you all on that journey. Figuring out this YouTube algorithm is harder than trying to figure out if the Ewoks ate the stormtroopers and fed them to Luke and company. But together we can beat the algorithm and pray for the souls of the men that got chewed up by the Ewoks. Thank you all for hanging out with me today. Until the next video, this is Gerald, a Star Wars fanatic, wishing you all great health, happiness, and peace. Thank you all for watching. And remember, this is the way. And positivity in the Star Wars community should be the only way. And may the 4th be with you.